it was a seam route that went over the linebacker. So was the linebacker standing on the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, that was the second one.
They were
That was
sucked up.
That was for 15.
Okay,
So
all right.
he had one pass for 30 yards,
Yep.
and then he had one pass for 15, and you want to crown him king.
No, I'm saying they won the day.
I don't know.
Also, I thought protection was good for the most part.
Henry, you've been kind of quiet.
Protection was better. Protection was better. Again, like I don't think
Did you say Jonas Griffith had a sack?
No, he had pressure.
I said he was in his face.
what? They didn't make any big plays though.
I mean,
years of a bunch of 5-yard games.
Russ had one good play. I'm not calling a 15-yard completion an incredible game-changing play. Russ had one really good play,
See, I think
and then everything else
caught it
was
at 15,
something
but
that
he was-
Teddy Bridgewater does.
I don't think he was going that.
It's
Eric
5
Sauber.
10 yards.
Well, this will be a fun one.
Oh, baby, I can't wait.
They missed it. That was like the middle portion. Like there was plenty of debate after. There was plenty before. It got heated.
Our friend Michael Spencer and Romy Bean walked by, and they thought we were like recording a show.
Yeah.
Because we were just going at it.
It's like no, just a fight.
Yeah, this is, I was like, this is how we talk.
Yeah.
But typically, we're so passionately on the same page, which I like these shows when we're not.
What I love about this is we have literally different perspectives. You know, I'm on the hill, you guys are on the field, and it just gives you two different looks at the way it is. And one thing I have to say I really love about being up there on the hill is I'm just alone. So like no one can cloud my view of anything. Like, because when you're down there, you're talking to people and they're like, did you see this? Or did you see that? You know, and you're like, oh, I missed that. And you start getting thoughts in your mind. Me, I'm just up there, me and my notepad.
With $3,000.
So what Ryan's trying to do is skew the viewers right now, being like, I have the perfect notes, and I have a challenge for the viewers. I already know what our pod poll is going to be. It's going to be, who do you think won the day based on this conversation? The offense or the defense? And I want people in the YouTube chat to chime in, but not until the third segment. When we're done with this, we're each going to make our case, and I think we've already debated our case off air for a while, and I think there's going to be good cases for both.
It's going to be interesting. Just a reminder, we are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. We are the DNVR Broncos podcast. We're here with you guys every single day at 3 o'clock after training camp, giving you the breakdown, and this should be a fun one. So I guess, like always, we should start here, which will frame the conversation well. Which is, do we have another graphic? I think we have a graphic for this. A little, what did Russ cook up today? I'm going to go last.
Okay, Henry, you go first.
I'll give him like a good pork chop with a side of like some garlic butter mashed potatoes.
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe even another side. I might throw another side in there.
Is
like,
Henry just going to go a piece of meat every time? I
It's just
yesterday
so
it was a steak,
easy.
today it's
Henry
a pork
doesn't know
chops.
dishes.
I know, it's like I've heard people eat like meat. I just go to Arby's.
I'm not the biggest
Subway?
fan of pork chops.
Yeah, I think some people aren't. And I think that you could look at what Russell Wilson did today with all the check downs and not too many big plays and say like, okay, yeah, there's a piece of meat there. There was a stretch where he was not missing. You can't deny that. This is a solid, hearty meal he gave us. But, I mean, there was really no flash.
Okay.
And yesterday, Hank, it was a T-bone?
With no sides.
T-bone with no sides. See,
Poorly seasoned.
Medium well, maybe just well.
I'd rather have that than a pork chop with
Garlic
no
butter
matter
mashed potatoes.
what the things are on top. Because you got to eat the pork chop, though. You don't
What
just
I
get
would
to
be
eat
doing
the garlic
is-
butter with the mash.
I'd be cutting off little chunks of the pork chop, dipping it in the mashed potatoes.
Yeah. That's how you want to do it with this plate, too. Trust me, with these mashed potatoes.
Well, Henry, I kind of like where you're going, and we're going to get into the Russometer, which shows kind of the complexities and maybe how it's similar to yesterday, different. I'm going, it was a hot dog. And I like hot dogs. No, that's a compliment. I like hot dogs, but when
Worst type of meat you can get.
I thought about bratwurst, but I was like, I want to. No, you know what? I'll go bratwurst. I'll go bratwurst.
I like hot dogs better.
I like
You are a
bratwurst better.
child, yeah.
That snap you get when you bite into like a perfectly cooked brat.
If it's too hot inside, though, it can hurt.
Yeah, you got to do it
Okay.
right.
You just don't know. It just explodes.
There's this place down the street that I've yet to go to, which is a huge L on my part, called Steve's Snappin' Dogs. And it just makes me want one so bad because I'm like, I know exactly why it's called Snappin' Dogs.
I was thinking the fish, like a snapper.
Oh.
Not only is it going to snap, but it's going to explode all in your face. So it's going to, well, not like that.
I'm just glad you didn't say mouth.
It's going to be really
Maybe
hot
tomorrow
everywhere.
it'll be like that.
But I'm going bratwurst because what Russ was really solid. When you have a bratwurst, you'll take it, right? But you can do better. You know, you can do a steak. You can do a nice fish. You can add some baked beans, coleslaw, really make it a full meal. Russ was good today. Russ was good. And when I have a bratwurst, I'm like, man, that was good.
All right. I'm going chicken parm.
Oh, you're saying he was Peyton Manning?
Chicken parm, which is like not the best meal you could ever have, but you would request it. And if you see it on a menu, you would order it. And that's how I feel about what Russ did today. Like, if you could sign me up for that, I'm taking it. Now, yes, would you like to see more down the field? Of course. I just don't know how much they're working on that at this point. You start off the day with that beautiful, beautiful pass to Jeudy on the over route, which I was telling Henry before the show. I'm just going to start calling it the Jeudy route, which is funny because you think of Jeudy and you think quick, shifty, short routes. But he's so good at the bend that you kind of have to run that route, right? You go out and you're just bending it off over across behind the linebackers, under the safeties. And Russ couldn't have thrown a better ball. Put it right where he needed to. You know, we said somewhere between 25 and 30 yards. That's the weird part about this is you never know if you break it and, you know, you get to keep going. Jeudy obviously great with the ball in his hands, but that was just like, maybe that was such a great appetizer that I was just like, here we go, you know? And it definitely didn't live up to that height, the rest of it. But here's where I think I got so high on Russ today was accuracy. I am blown away by his ability to put the ball where he wants to over and over and over again. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I was thinking back through his throws. I don't think there's a throw where he had time that wasn't exactly where he wanted to throw it.
One.
Which one?
One that I can think of, it was the deep ball to Jeudy that Justin Simmons got to. It was a great play by Justin. I'm not trying to take anything away from Justin, but I do think Jerry had half a step on him. So if it was put in the exact right spot, which is a very difficult pass, but I'm also talking about the pass that was the most difficult for him to make. So I am, picking some pieces out there.
No, you're right. That's the one that he probably could have gotten it out 5 yards further and would have given Jerry a better chance to haul it in. Still would have been a tough catch.
Yep.
Great coverage by Kareem and Justin. And Hank said it. Justin makes it look so easy. And he's like a great center fielder that you just see like there's one in the gap and he just strides over and catches it. Quick, tosses it into the crowd and jogs back in.
So Henry, we really want to hear you talk, but we're gonna just interrupt you.
Again. Oh my goodness!
I'm just kidding. Go, Henry. I want to add some context.
That one got me. That one really got me. But yeah, I mean, it's this weird play. The thing about training camp is you don't get to watch replays, so you don't get to be like, oh, where did Justin Simmons come from? But when you see Kareem Jackson is covering Jerry on the sideline, and then Simmons is coming over to make the play, like there's no world in which it's just Simmons do whatever you want. Simmons, you're on this half of the field with Kareem underneath. Like that's just not a thing that happens. Justin just ran out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like somehow he got in there and made that play. Again, it looks so easy. Like it seems like when guys try to break balls up, they're like bumbling and trying to turn around and find it. And half the time they just whiff. He just throws an arm up there, bats it away like it's no big deal. That's a play that's going to stick with me.
I actually thought he could have picked it.
Oh.
Which would have changed things. Because I was telling you guys, if the defense had one pick, I would feel different about the way they were. But Russ also, this doesn't affect who won the day or what. Maybe it does affect what he cooked. You guys can tell me. Did you guys watch when he was throwing on the nets?
No. I did not. No.
I'm mesmerized by this.
Just boom, accurate.
So they have one net on one side, one net on the other side, and a guy in the middle. And the nets were 15 yards. I had to double check because I was like, he's making this look so easy. Or is that 10 or 15? It was 15 yards. And so you go and, you chop your feet and they give you they'll say red, blue, or orange. Orange was the guy in the middle, so you just throw it to him. But Russ, at one point, hit 6 in a row in the nets. And I'm just like, you've heard of like an air bender? He's like he's a football bender. Yeah. Like he just controls the ball wherever he wants. And so to me, like I think that's what just got me fired up. Is I just kept being like, wow. Every single one of these throws is hitting his guy in stride. Even the short 5 to 10 yard outs are just like those guys turn and it's on their hands. There was another one to Cortland, which was like a really great anticipatory throw. He threw it before Cortland was open at all, and he knew he's coming back to the ball at one point. And it's just like Cortland's going completely covered. Russ lets it go, and by the time Court turns around, boom, right there.
And that was one of my biggest takeaways from yesterday before team period started, was just the anticipation that Russ throws with is something that we have not seen since Peyton Manning was here. And that's what really separates good quarterbacks from great quarterbacks. That's one of the components, and Russ certainly has that. But Ryan, I think I know what happened. You watched the teaser of a movie, and it was great. They put together such a good teaser. So you're going into this thinking, this is going to be amazing. I didn't watch the teaser. You watched the movie, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Oh, that one joke, that was so funny. It's even more funny now. And so you were just, the foreplay worked on you a little more.
I think so.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Got me going. I don't know. Maybe it's also just all the bad throws we've seen over the years in these training camps, and just seeing a guy feel like he's in total control of the ball, which like seems weird to talk about. I don't think I've ever talked about it before. He just looks like he knows exactly what he wants to do with it, and he just does it, and that gets me fired up. Even at the end of practice when they're just like working on these little 5-yard touchdown drills, and essentially he's just telling these receivers like they put a defender in the middle, like that's a linebacker. And he's saying, like, all right, go and just bump into the linebacker and then just turn and go low. You know what I mean? Like, because there's just no way anyone else can get to this ball. And it's a 5-yard throw, but just one after another, they hit the guy, they turn down, and the ball's like 2 feet off the ground. Only they can get it, and they're ready for it. And I'm just imagining these plays in real life and just how they're going to move the ball.
Exactly. And it's not even just the throws to me. Like, there's some of the throws, even like when we were down there watching him, just like the bootleg things where he rolls out and you're just like, wow, that form. But everything he does, you could cut him out of that situation and just put him on the field in like a Sunday night football game or the Super Bowl or something. You're just like, yes, that is what that looks like right there. Like when he turns around to like tell the running back that they're flipping something or making some tweak, you're like, it's even just like the angle that he bends over and the way he taps his helmet. You're just like, that is an NFL quarterback doing like the thing, the exact way that thing is supposed to be done. Like from the footwork to the throws, all of that. It does just, you see it and you're just like, yep, Broncos are just fine there.
And that was one of the reasons why I said chicken parm, because it kind like the quick little short stuff that you weren't blown away by just reminded me of like the way that Peyton Manning used to move the ball down the field. Like, just dice you up, and then wait for, you come a little too far forward, and then, DT's behind the defense or whatever. You didn't get that today, though. And that's why it's not like, because when I saw that first play, I was like, oh, baby, I better start thinking about what the best meal you could ever have is, 'cause that's what it could be. It didn't end up being that.
We're going to have one of those.
I'm sure it will.
We're going to have a couple.
Oh, yeah.
And this, I think, segues nicely into our conversation about who won the day, offense or defense. And for me...
Wait, I think this is a long conversation.
Okay.
Because you can't lose at DraftKings Sportsbook this weekend when you bet on UFC 277. Literally, win or lose on your bet, you win $100 in free bets. What am I talking about? You bet on any fighter in UFC 277. Place $5 bet, you get $100 in free bets right away. Doesn't matter if they win or lose, and you can use that money on UFC 277, or you can use it on NFL football, which is coming up. And guys, every day we get closer, the more excited I get. So head to the App Store now, download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now, and use promo code DNVR when you sign up to get up to $1,000 sign-up bonus plus $100 free in your account when you bet on UFC 277. That's DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. What are you guys laughing about?
Who's going to go next?
I was like, look over. He's looking at me. This turns into a stare down.
Yeah, this is kind of, it reminds me of like being in the wild. And showing who's dominant here.
Wow.
Well, in that case, Breckenridge Brewery.
No, I think you got that backwards.
Check out our friends over at Breckenridge Brewery. It's Thursday, is that right?
Yes, which is so difficult.
It's so-
Oh my gosh, we're on Wednesday reads. We're doing a pod this Saturday.
Yeah, it's confusing. But all I know is that tomorrow is Friday, which means it's a Breck Brew Friday, which means it's time for all of us to go get some Palisade Peach Light.
Heck yes.
Try it out. Come back with a review. I cannot wait to have it, but there's so many other great things over at Breck Brew. Haven't talked in a while about Good Company hard seltzers, but I've just like fully become a seltzer guy. Like I embrace that about myself now. I would prefer a seltzer. Like it's just refreshing, cold, crisp, everything you look for in a drink, and happens to get you buzzed as well. So check out our friends over at Breckenridge Brewery.
Also become a member at DNVR. It's a cool thing. You can't sign up for the golf tournament anymore because it's filled out. But
we actually oversold it.
Oh, I love
really,
it.
Yeah.
how does that work? You got to vote somebody
I
out?
figured it out.
Huh.
No one needed to be voted out.
I feel like we should vote somebody out.
I would be down for a survive. Why don't we do a derby? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, you've told. How many times have you asked me in the last? Ever since he was in a derby 3 weeks ago, it's been. Have you ever heard of a derby? Have you ever heard of a derby? We should have a derby.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
We should get all 132 players out there on one hole for a derby. The last 124 standing get to stay.
How much? So, if you were to do a 132-man derby, how many holes do you think it would take to decide the winner?
I would say probably over 18.
Because the way
Oh.
that it works, remember, is that everybody tees off on the first hole. Best score moves on.
No.
And ties.
Right. You just can't have it. Usually you cut it down. So you could actually decide. You could say
Okay.
best 60 scores stay. So I guess you could determine it.
There's our little derby expert. But you should become a member at DNVR because there's all sorts of different specials. We're going to have some more, it sounds like, who knows, coming to the DNVR bar for members.
Yep.
Whether it's big beers and small beers and whatever.
Who knows?
Cool stuff. And
Our
you
new
get to...
special, you get a small beer. Perfect for Zach.
yeah.
Then I can drink more.
It's true.
Zach's
That's how
like, dude,
that
I
works.
drank 12 beers. He has a little shot glass.
We've got a bunch of stories up. Zach's been writing the camp notes. Ryan had a call him before camp. I had a Russell Wilson thing last night. All of an Eric Sauerbert thing up tonight. All sorts of stuff at thednvr.com. So become a member so you can read it.
Just Saubert.
Saubert?
Yeah.
Saubert?
I don't think there's an R in there before the one in Bert.
Sauerbert?
Yeah.
A little sour. There's been no sour.
You're thinking too much Todd Sauerbrunn.
It's true.
Would you trade Sauerbert for Sauerbrunn?
No, because he's been the best tight end in camp so far.
He has.
He has.
Yeah,
There's
for
no
sure.
doubt about that. I totally agree. But I did not help my argument for the pod poll during the first segment because we talked about all the good things that Russ did. But can I just go through a quick rundown, and you guys can correct me of just kind of how practice unfolded.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so very first play, we've talked about that. Great play, 30-yard completion to Jerry Jeudy. Then Russell had 4 straight completions. He went Cortland, Tim. They were for 5 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, 5 yards. So all short, all completions, all where they needed to be.
All yardages are subject to change.
No, they were all under 10 yards.
This is the one where I truly do have the advantage on you guys because I can see the lines.
It was also very close to us.
It's very close.
They were
What do you
throwing to the
mean
left
you
side
have
of the field.
advantage.
I can see the lines.
I can see a line.
You can't see the lines from field view.
Oh, yes, you can.
And then he had an incompletion where there was pressure up the middle.
Yep.
I think that was Jonas Griffith
it
there.
was. I think Benito, too.
Then
But mostly Griffith.
Russ tried to go deep, and that was the Justin Simmons pass breakup that we've talked about. Really good play by Justin. Could have been a perfect ball from Russ. It wasn't a perfect ball, but not a bad ball. Then he hit Sauerbert on a 15-yard seam route, which was good. By the way, though, did you guys see the Broncos tweeted it?
No.
And they said touchdown. And
That's
I
just good for my
watched it.
argument.
No. Everyone go to Broncos Twitter and look at this. PJ Locke would have exploded Eric Sauerbert, and the Broncos are out here saying it's a touchdown. It was disgraceful. Anyway, so
They
that
probably
happened.
just do whatever Russ tells them to do.
It's very true. So that was a completion, though, a 15-yarder, the only other pass outside of the first one that went for more than 10
Why
yards.
is the Broncos account so hard to search on Twitter?
Isn't that weird?
Our account pops up. When I search Broncos, ours pops up
I
before
even
that.
just typed
which,
in at Broncos
which
and
is
it's
great.
not the first thing that comes up.
Wow, that's crazy. Then a Jeudy screen. And then here's where, in my opinion,
Jeudy had a sick move on that screen. Wouldn't
Yes, he
have
did.
done much, but
No,
he did.
he did.
Shook a dude.
He did. Now, here's in my opinion. Up until then, there was one really good play by the defense. Otherwise, the defense was really keeping the offense in check, but the offense was being efficient. But here's where it switched. The final drill of practice. Well, Ryan's watching it right now.
They didn't show the beginning of the play.
He would have been killed. Kale, do you mind pulling that up for our listeners when we're talking about it?
He definitely would have been.
He would have been down.
I don't know if he would have been killed, but he probably 80% chance of being tackled.
PJ, oh no, 100% chance.
No, there's no 100% chance of anything.
PJ Locke had it had that when you're about to hit someone so hard and you pull up and you know it. He had that little that pep in his step.
Sauber threw that little tiny stiff arm in there.
Yeah,
it's that's not doing it.
Kale, I think you missed it. It should have been one of the most recent things.
2 hours ago.
Just look for the thing.
There it was.
Yeah. No, that's not it. No, that's not it either. But save that one for later. Okay, never mind. We
There it is.
There.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. There's here we go. As it starts over.
Salbert leading the league or leading the team in sellies.
And dunks.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Kale, would you pull up the when I'm about to talk about it, the Pat Surtain pass breakup? Because in this, to end practice, typically it's a move the ball period. There's something, and it's the most important part of practice. And so what it was the first team defense and offense had two different scenarios. The first one was a 3rd and 7. And the offense had 2 plays to get a first down. Russell Wilson drops back, gets a 2-yard completion to Jerry Jeudy. Next play, he hits Jerry Jeudy again on nearly the exact same slant for 4 yards. They come up 1 yard short.
All the offense was celebrating.
I don't know about that. I think when they placed the ball, it was 1 yard short.
Interesting. All I know
that's what I thought I saw.
That's one of those things where you can't really see this. All I know is Jerry got up and gave the first down.
Okay. So then they did it again. And this time it was 3rd and 7, but they only had 1 play to do this. And this was the play, Kale, if we can pull it up. So 3rd and 7, Russell Wilson drops back. He knows where he's going with the ball the whole time. Goes up to Courtland Sutton. Both Courtland and Pat Surtain high point the ball. Courtland gets his hands on it, and then Pat Surtain swats it away, and then practice is over on that one. And Pat Surtain talked about it after practice and said that was it. Whoever won that one was coming out on top, and I knew I had to make a play.
Hell of a play by Pat.
Yeah. Hell of a throw, too.
Court mistimed his jump.
Oh, you think so?
Yep, he cost the offense the day.
Did he go up too early and he was on his way down, and that helped Pat get it?
Yep, exactly.
Wait, did you say cost the offense the day?
According to what you're talking
Click
about.
that, Kale.
Watch it one more time. Mm-hmm. He's on his way down when he hits it.
Yep.
And that's what allows
Just
Pat
barely.
to get his hand up in there.
Yep.
If he just waited another half second to jump, he high points that. And there you go.
And Court knew right after he was pissed at himself, but then also dabbed Pat up because it was a great play.
It was.
And it would have been an incredibly difficult catch with that coverage on him as well.
I just wonder if these are if this is one of those things where Hackett in the headset is telling Russ test Pat here, because I'm pretty sure up to this point Pat Surtain had not gotten a ball thrown his way the whole time.
Yeah.
He's like, let's see the give me the matchup. Court versus Pat.
Totally. And that's the way that should go. If
Yes.
that's a play that decides practice, Russell Wilson has to at least be thinking, how should this go down? Courtland Sutton versus Pat Surtain on the sideline.
Because in my eyes, with the game on the line, I'm going nowhere near Pat Surtain.
I completely agree. And that reminds me of the Salbert 15-yarder. It was a good throw, good completion. Would have been in completion. He just would have been tackled right then. On the left side of the line, you had Javonte Williams on Pat Surtain. And I thought, okay, there's no chance that this ball is going Javonte's way. But then right next to him, you had Courtland Sutton on Jonas Griffith. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is juicy. Yeah. And so I was disappointed that Russ looked the other way, but it still turned into
Kareem
completion.
or was the defender over the top of him there? Or the safety over the top
Not
of
directly
Jonas?
over,
Wow.
no.
It's not a good matchup. I
But-
would be panicking in Madden if I came in.
I was panicking for Jonas, but Ryan, you noticed it today. Jonas having another really good day.
Yeah, that got me excited.
Yeah.
He had a 3-play stretch all in a row of pressure in the face of Russ. Very next play, he makes a great run stop on a cutback. So, the running back's trying to come back the other way, and he just stops in his tracks, reaches back. Definitely would have made the tackle. Well, nothing's definite, but he very likely could have made the tackle. And then the very next play, like they ran one, and he just shot the gap, popped right into it, and I was just like, whew. If Jonas Griffith, remember, this is like a 9.8 RAS guy, so it's not like he's just some guy.
Right.
He is a elite athlete who is learning the linebacker position in the NFL, and if it clicks for him, he has a chance to be a freak, just a beast.
He does, and he's also extremely raw. He played 1 year of football in high school, and then that's why he went to a very small school, still learning the game in college, and he was drafted by the 49ers because of his athletic ability to be a special teams guy. And when the Broncos traded for him last year, they traded for him to be a special teams guy, and then he got on the field for defense, and they were like, oh, shit, this guy can play.
So
He's only 25.
We can maybe thank Tom McMahon for sucking, for George Payton having to get him help.
Wow.
For Jonas Griffith maybe eventually becoming a star.
So we're calling Jonas Griffin a product of Tom McMahon.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. I
He's
absolutely
off the
love
Tom
it.
McMahon tree.
On Jonas Griffith, how big is Randy Gregory? You both have seen him in person.
He's a big dude.
Big boy.
He's a big dude.
He is big boy. Jonas Griffith was walking off the field, and when they walk off the field, they take their pads and their jersey off. So I just saw him without his pads or jersey going into the locker room, or like right in front of, I guess right going into the locker room, and I 100% thought it was Randy Gregory because of how freaking big Jonas Griffith is. And then you add in the athletic abilities on top of that, this guy can absolutely be a big-time player.
I had a chance to talk with him right around that same time, and I thought the exact same thing. Like, I just looked that man in the face and was like, oh, wow. Like, this is... Like, Josie Jewell had been walking around, too, and again, like, big dude, big linebacker dude, but not like Jonas Griffith. Like, that's just crazy. He's obviously really excited. He's never been in a situation like this before. Like, he's fired up that he gets to be the starter in camp. He says, it's not like... he's not taking it for granted, but he's having fun, and just like he says, like being out there with Justin Simmons and Pat Surtain and all them, like that's gotta be pretty cool after being a special teamer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's coming from Illinois State, I believe, is where he was from.
Really? Illinois State is a good little pipeline to Denver going.
I think so.
Okay.
Who's the other?
Shelby Harris.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Katie Wingy.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So, anyways, if Jonas Griffith is good, and I just mean good, he has great in him. If he's just good this year to very good, it just, to me, it completely alters the trajectory of the defense and could legitimately be the difference between, a very good defense over the last few years and all of a sudden a great defense.
What college did I say he went to?
Illinois State.
Indiana State.
Ah,
I know it's
Larry
something
Bird.
like that. Okay,
Wow.
there we go.
He is a real Larry Bird.
But Ryan, to your point, I think that's a really good point. Because he would be
Sycamores.
He would be very good. Sycamore's interesting. He'd be very good in both aspects of the game.
Yep.
And like the defensive line is going to be good or better. The secondary is going to be good or better. The one question mark is that middle
Secondary's gonna be
level.
great or better, I would say.
I think so too. You still have like that cornerback too. I mean, Kareem is 34, but yeah, I mean they should be.
Ojemudia hype taking a little hit early here. I wouldn't say like either of these. Again, we're talking about a 2-day sample size, but he hasn't popped out to me. And
Exactly.
Ron Darby has.
And
Yes.
I'm going to say for right now, that's just because of the way Ron Darby's playing. He just hasn't allowed Ojemudia to get on the field yet. But when OJ's been on the field this year, he's been really good. So I'm not going to ding him yet. But you're right. In terms of Ojemudia being a starter, no, that's washed away.
Yeah.
Yep. And the other piece, you were talking about those 4 throws in a row. The first 2 of them, I think, were just little slot outs. That's Cortland Sutton against K'Wan Williams, and he gets that. And then on the exact same play with the outside guys kind of clearing out, the next play, Tim Patrick does the same thing and catches that same ball. So, I totally tuned into K'Wan Williams all day, but back-to-back, not so great plays there.
Well, the thing with Russ and that accuracy is you can just do things that other quarterbacks are afraid to do. It's not that Drew Lock can't make that throw to Jerry Jeudy or Teddy Bridgewater can't make that throw to Jerry Jeudy. They can. Are they confident enough? Because it wasn't bad coverage. Who was in coverage?
On those ones?
On the first Jerry.
That was Surtain.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That explains why it was such good coverage.
Yeah.
But a lot of quarterbacks glance at that and just say, like, that's too close. And Russ was just like, no, he's got a half a step. That's enough for me. And just dotted him up. So, like, little things like that, or even those slot outs, it's just like throwing an out route is scary in the NFL because it's a number one route that ends in a pick six, right? If you throw it a little bit behind the spot, it's really easy for the defender to jump it. There's no one in between them in the end zone.
My Madden can attest for that.
I'm sure.
Not my defense.
I rarely throw them unless it's just obvious.
Yeah.
And you can just throw that if you're Russ because you just have no fear that it's going to get jumped.
Yeah.
You just the velocity and the accuracy combined, and it just opens up so much for a play caller to just be like, if they're playing that coverage, well, just run the slot out with Tim or Court, and we're 2nd and 5, and you just move on.
Yeah. I completely agree. Okay, can we give some closing arguments to this?
By the way, you aren't making the case that the defense won.
Yes, I am. I'm about to right now. No, I said
the whole time you've been saying it was a push.
Yeah, but when and here's why the defense won. Because if the offense plays like that, specifically the passing game, and the reason we're not talking about the running backs in detail much is because pads aren't on. Pads come on, I believe, next Monday is the first practice with pads, or maybe even Tuesday. So we'll talk about them then more in depth. But so the passing game, if they play like that and Russell Wilson plays like that, the Broncos are going to win games. There's no question about it. Russ was definitely good enough. He was a bratwurst. That's good enough. That will make you feel good going to bed at night. But if the defense plays the way they did, you are winning 90% of your games because all they did was give up one big pass, and that pass was 30 yards, and then another one for 15. 15-yard pass is going to happen all the time.
And who did they give that pass up to? Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy.
Right. I thought you were going to say Eric Saubert. Okay, that doesn't really help my argument here. Yeah. But then everything else was kept close. Also, I don't think I mentioned Ron Darby. Right after the big first play, Ron Darby was all over Courtland Sutton, forced Russell Wilson to throw it away and out of bounds. But if the defense plays that way, that's going to be elite play, which I think they're capable of.
Man, I just disagree so much. I didn't see elite in any stretch of the word.
You don't watch that Pat Surtain play when it mattered the most?
In a vacuum, that is an elite play by an elite player. But over the course of the day, what I saw was just like standard from the defense and good from the offense, and that's why I was giving it to the offense.
That Simmons play too, though.
Yeah,
there are
keeping everything else short.
You're expected to not allow deep passes. Deep passes favor the defense.
Yes, but also that play though was a great play.
It was a great play again by a great player. Got two.
But you have those players at your disposal. You have those guys. They should be made. Where was Courtland Sutton making the big play?
But in the same way you're saying it was the throw to Jerry and the throw to Saubert, which I would also throw in that throw to Courtland. I think it's probably also around the 15-yard, maybe in between 10 and 15, just because it was such a perfect throw. But in the same way that you're saying they had two, I'm saying they had two.
But I think the defensive ones were bigger. I don't think a 15-yard catch is that big of a deal.
And I'll throw in there.
Well, that's getting you from like the one side of the field to the other.
That was also against PJ Locke.
It's true.
He's there, so the backup defense was in
No,
there.
it wasn't. It actually wasn't against PJ Locke. The catch was wide open essentially because he waited for the linebacker to stop retreating and then just floated it over.
What I'm saying is PJ Locke is in there, And I think PJ Locke should make the team. He's played well enough, but it's not Kareem and Justin.
That angle makes it so difficult to see who else was on the field. I want to know.
It does make it difficult. And to Hank's point about Justin making a superstar play there, even Nathaniel Hackett alluded to that after practice, saying he was like, wow, it was amazing, gushing over it, and then said, what's crazy about that is that wasn't even his responsibility.
Exactly.
And that's, again, I just wish we could rewatch these things. I want to know where Justin was when that ball was thrown.
I agree.
I think he was a long way away.
I do too, and he just floats over there so effortlessly.
So easy.
To me, it's like neither of those were picks. And I thought the pass rush was held at bay for most parts of today, and that's a big thing for me. Like, I feel like when the defense wins a day, you can really feel it because the pass rush is all over them. They're not having time, and I felt like Russ did have time in a lot of throws today. So to me, it's the trenches. I think were won by the offense. You can't really talk about the run game.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Is like I agree. You can't really talk about the run game, but also it's been 2 days and we haven't seen a single
pop run.
Exactly. Nobody's gotten through. There have not been holes. And again, there's no pads and that changes things. But
there's a lot of runs where a defensive lineman reaches their arm out and that's basically it's done there, and it's like in real life Javonte Williams is just hammering that arm off of him and popping for 6. But regardless, I don't talk about the run game until the pads come on, and even then I still don't care about it that much.
It's true.
Just because they're not tackling.
Yeah. Right.
And the run game is all about breaking tackles. So that to me, I felt like the offense won the trenches in the pass game and moved the ball well and had a couple big plays. The defense did a good job of keeping stuff in front of them, but didn't have any turnovers or sacks or anything like that.
So I'll boil it down for Ryan. If you like 4-yard completions,
oh my god,
vote for the offense.
Yep.
If you don't, if you like defense keeping everything in front of them, vote for the defense.
If you like moving the ball, perfect throws. Even the throw to Cortland, I think, is probably a perfect throw.
It was a really good throw.
Yeah.
I mean, it hit both Cortland's hands.
Yeah.
it was incredible. It's back shoulder too. It's deciding where to put that. And you see Surtain as a step out in front. Just to drop that in right behind, that's a decision that the quarterbacks in the past would not have been able to make.
I think we need to hit the Russ-rometer?
It's the rideometer.
The rideometer. Okay.
Ooh.
Is it stopping?
Let's ride.
A 3.
So this is what's funny about this is our perspectives frame everything.
Yeah.
And so yesterday I thought Russ was left a lot to write home or left a lot to be desired. Combined two phrases there.
Hey, DeMarcus.
I just didn't feel anything from him. There wasn't anything that got me excited. Obviously today there was a lot more. So yesterday I was like, that's a 2. And if it would have been, then I would have been fine with saying, okay, today is a step above that. That's a 3. But today, to me, was definitely a step above yesterday. So I was like, I want a 4 today. But then our scale is only 5, which is problematic in itself because it doesn't give us that much wiggle room. It's like a 4 on this scale, unfortunately, is close to perfect, right?
No, Russ wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. What I'm saying is if you give him a 4, you're saying that's one notch away from a perfect day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we couldn't really do that.
Yeah.
I think I would have settled for a 3.5 if that existed on the scale and said it was better than yesterday. It wasn't in the great.
I agree. I agree, and that's why you have to watch the show to know all the little aspects that go into this.
It's tough to tell the difference between yesterday and today, like just to compare those two because they're doing so much red zone yesterday and not nearly as much today. So yesterday there's 4 touchdowns and a couple interceptions.
Yeah.
Today there's none of either.
0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Yep.
Yeah. Except for the ones that Russ threw on air. He threw 100 in a row at the end of the
Those
practice.
look so good.
One note I do have on that little exercise they were doing at the end of practice, which was fascinating to watch, what a perfectionist Russ is. He's basically telling them, put your hands in this exact window, and that's where the ball will be. And one after another it was. But while he's doing that, the 2s and 3s continued to play, continued to work. So practice was kind of over with the Surtain play. And then they went back and ran a few more plays. Russ takes the 1s over with him to do that. And why it's notable is because with him, there was only one tight end. and that was Alberto, and I think that's notable.
I like that. And actually, practice for the ones is over right after that Pat Surtain play. And then what Nathaniel Hackett does is he lets the vets go and sign autographs right then. They can go into the locker room. And I like that Russ was the one to bring those guys over and work a little more. And then
By the way, Russ signed every autograph again today.
Huge. Man of the people. Love it. And then what Nathaniel Hackett does is he brings the 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s over to get more reps, because in practice, and what I like is they don't get as many reps as the 1s. And we've seen some coaches kind of split it evenly. No. The 1 should be getting way more reps than the backup. So I like that Nathaniel Hackett doesn't waste practice time with that, but then he still gets them the reps after.
I like it too. In middle school, that was called the 5th quarter.
What? Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
They did that?
In my league, they did. It was after the game. Sometimes they did it before. It was still called the 5th quarter. After the game, they would run a whole other quarter just for the backups.
Oh, man.
Wow.
You don't want to be on that
you
quarter.
would not. I really wanted to be the quarterback of that group.
Okay.
But since I wasn't on the depth chart at quarterback, I wasn't able to.
That's fair.
Jumping back to that Russell Wilson, like when he's showing him the footwork and all that stuff, it reminds me of Vaughn 3 years ago. Like when he's going through with, at that point, it was Bradley Chubb, and it's just the hand placement and just showing those little tiny details of how those things work. That's the value, one of the values of having guys like that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable just watching him, and the cool thing about him doing it over in my end zone is I can hear him. I can hear what he's saying to those guys, and it's really fascinating just to watch him. He could be a wide receivers coach. Because he's coaching those guys through the entire thing. No one else is there. He's telling them exactly what to do.
And because he has his own wide receivers coach, just in case he decides to switch positions, he's prepared. And one thing you want to be prepared for is a Colorado Golf Association raffle.
Let's go.
Because they are giving away some awesome prizes. They're giving the Dream Golf Vacation raffle with prizes including Wailea Blue Golf Course in Maui, Whistling Straits, a Naples Golf Tour, and Palm Beach Golf Tour, as well as a $5,000 gift card to Bandon Dunes. It is so cool. So many cool prizes. Another cool part of it is the benefits and proceeds go to 2 really cool groups. So check them out over at coloradogolf.com to get your tickets today. And you guys better stop laughing when I'm doing ad reads.
You can have this one.
Oh, can I?
Yeah, you can.
I
That's very
appreciate
nice of
the
you.
gift. Colorado Rugby, the American Raptors. They are playing games.
By the way, American Raptors
Love
snubbed from our best to ever wear it graphic.
Oh, wow.
Gotta get some raps
Wow.
in there.
Weren't a lot of...
Everyone.
Yeah,
was.
everyone was.
It was a joke about how much people are complaining about you didn't include this team or you didn't include this guy.
It's
Also,
a big four.
I'm sure there are a lot of people who are listening to this who thought this too. It's fine. 87 on that graphic is not Jordan Taylor. It is Lionel Taylor.
Oh, damn. But how important Jordan was to Peyton?
Some people were so mad about that. They're like, Jordan Sunshine Taylor over Ed McCaffrey. You guys are idiots. And I was like, do I have the energy to defend this to every person? Turns out I didn't. I just sent out a general tweet. Lionel Taylor led the AFL in catches for 5 out of the first 6 years of the league's existence.
Insane.
Crazy numbers.
And he's just forgot about.
Yep. I mean, it's the 60s.
What else happened?
Yeah. So
Moon
he had
landing, JFK.
Big time.
I'm not sure people are forgetting about the 60s.
All I can think about is Broncos burned the uniforms.
Yeah, huh.
That's all that comes to me.
Okay.
No other teams in Denver at the time.
Well, at the time, there were no American Raptors because the American Raptors are a new team. They play out at Infinity Park in Glendale. That's where the U.S. national team trains. The idea is to take athletes from other sports, teach them how to play rugby, and in theory, come up with a bunch of guys who can actually play on that national team. Cool program, fun games. You can go over to their website and get free tickets to those games. And make sure you're tuning in with Colton Strickler on the weekly DNVR Rugby podcast and following along with all of his written content at the DNVR as well.
We got some breaking news, some smaller breaking news happening right now. Mike Kliss has just reported that Brittany Bolin has informed the Broncos employees last month that she is stepping down and away from the Broncos to let the new ownership in.
Lame.
Yeah. So it truly is the end of the Bolin era.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does. It does. Because I thought that there was going to be that piece that was still there, and maybe keeping some things at Bolin way, but I think Brittany knows just, $4.6 billion. That's just going to buy whatever they want.
For sure, yeah. And I just hope this happened in like a nice way. I don't believe anyone ever steps down. So I just
fair.
I'm like, I hope this wasn't like I just hope it was amicable.
Yeah.
Where they're like, hey, look, like these new people are coming in, like they want to hire their own staff. I hope you understand. We love you.
Right.
But you just never know.
Yeah, you don't. It's a good point. So sad times, but also very exciting to what is to come. Ryan, do we need to hit any of your little odd games for this?
Yeah, we could do Oddservations. First one here, I only have one today. This is something that no one else saw, which isn't necessarily true. Other people saw this, but no one else in the media saw this for sure. Okay. As Brandon McManus is kicking field goals, first of all, this isn't an observation, but he hit a 65-yarder.
That was by himself, right?
Yes, off the tee. Yeah. There's this guy just yelling at Brandon McManus. Like, first of all, he sends his kid over to where the ball is landing. And he's just yelling, or not yelling at Brandon McManus, yelling at the guy who goes up there to catch the balls.
Yeah.
Let the kids catch them. What are you doing? Let the kids have some fun. Like, his kid's name is like Jacob or something. He's like, Jacob, get in there. Get in there.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, dude, you know what happened the last time they let that happen? Is the kid broke his arm.
Yeah.
And then they had to, like, give him a care package.
Yep,
so they're not doing that anymore.
No way. They're going to let the equipment team do that.
They say no free lunch, no free care packages.
That is very true. I did not catch that one. One thing, and I'm really going to take this at the Oddservation part, not something that no one else saw because a lot of people saw this. Nuggets former general manager Tim Connolly
That is odd.
was at the Denver Broncos practice, and just the whole time I was like, this is so odd. This is weird.
Yeah.
Dude, you don't really belong here anymore.
No, you made your choice. You have to go watch Kirk Cousins now. That's what you signed up for.
I assume I saw him talking with George Payton, so they must have created a relationship.
Yeah.
Tim obviously still has a house here, I'm sure, so he's in town. The hard thing is, like, Tim Connolly is awesome.
Yeah.
He was, like, so cool to us specifically. Just great at what he did. And this is just, like, shows how much all I care about is Colorado sports. Like, I can't even, like, have good feelings about him anymore.
Exactly. And that's how that's the frame that I was looking through it is, man, nearly all the people sitting on the Hill are Nuggets fans too, and you just burned them. You just left, and I understand why he left, and he's the freaking part owner of an organization now, but he still left them, and now he's on the sidelines getting more access than the fans that are up there. And I did hear him talking that he is friends with George Payton, and he even mentioned that he's friends with Nathaniel Hackett.
Nice. Yeah, it's so funny because, like, on a personal level, great person.
Yeah.
Did the right thing for him and his family. All of those things. And in my heart, I just can't. I can't not be like, oh, you're a traitor.
It's not time to reminisce about the glory days. Like, in 30 years, we can do that.
Right.
Right now, get your ass up to the border and go watch Kirk Cousins and Kellen Mond. You don't get to come back for this. This isn't for you.
Yeah, Russell. You don't get Russell Wilson
this
anymore.
is not your thing.
Did you speak of the Vikings? Did you see what their general manager said about Kirk Cousins? He was talking about how laser focused he is, and he said Kirk Cousins is zero dark LeBron. Like, what?
Well, okay, that was a thing that LeBron did.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, right after Zero Dark 30
Right.
came out.
Yes. That's what.
Right before the playoffs, LeBron, who
Oh my god.
maybe has the worst tweets in professional sports,
Oh, it's a tweet.
tweeted out like, "I'm going Zero Dark 23."
Oh, right.
And that was his way of saying he's going off social media.
Oh my
Which
gosh.
he was comparing to like a the highest level military mission like ever.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Superstars view themselves differently.
they sure do. And sometimes lack context.
Yeah.
What was another one? I mean, LeBron's tweets are so good to look back on. Like the best one was this year.
Yep.
The keep that same energy tweet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never gets old.
We did. You sucked.
Yep.
I've got an observation. Actually, I've got two. First one, Melvin Gordon's left-handed, which is probably a thing you guys know.
A lot of players are left-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
Just
weird
not
when you see him
quarterbacks.
throw it.
Yeah, I was just watching him throw balls, and my first thought was, wow, he has a terrible arm. Like, you'd think, like, spending that much time around footballs, like, it just doesn't look right. And I was like, wait, he's left-handed, too.
Maybe he has a terrible arm because he's actually right-handed. He's just throwing left-handed for
that's
funsies.
true.
I thought so, and that's why I watched. But it's like 6 throws, one of them underhand, all left-handed. Who knows? The real observation, though, after stretches today, there was a massive bathroom break. It was unbelievable. Guys were just flowing in there.
You're going to name people off who went to the bathroom?
Wow.
Alberto Cuebunon, Montrell Washington.
Are we crossing a line here?
Potentially.
OJ Mudia, Justin Simmons, Ronald Darby, K'Wan Williams was there. Tyree Cleveland was there. Corliss Waitman was there. On the way out,
Not a person.
OJ just yelled, "God damn!" And Jerry Jeudy looked at him and he said, "Everybody got to pee." I don't know what was going on
Print
in
the
there.
shirts.
But I was standing next to the bathroom yesterday, and there's like 2 people. And I remember like joking around, like, we're 10 minutes in the practice. Like, who didn't see this coming? Today, just a flood.
Henry, at the clubs, they're not going to the bathroom when that's happening in the bathroom.
That's why I felt safe saying it here.
Everybody
Like,
got to
what?
pee.
Well,
Everybody
you do
got
know what
pee.
they had for breakfast, right?
Eggs?
Bean and cheese burritos, baby.
I will say this: they are doing walkthroughs before practice now, and I didn't quite get a sense. Is that Russ organized, or is that the actual walkthrough? Like, are they still doing afternoon walkthroughs?
They're doing night walkthroughs.
Let these guys go home.
I talked to Eric.
They can't go home. They got to go to a hotel.
That's true. They're also doing morning walkthroughs with Russ.
Yep.
And I just wonder if that throws off your pee schedule. You know, you got to do a morning walkthrough, and all of a sudden, like it just run. You know, things are running into each other, and you just don't have time for your in between practice pee.
That's the thing I'm most concerned about in my mornings. My routine gets bumped around for scheduling purposes is my pee schedule because I chug water, so I got to make sure that I'm on the right schedule. Gonna be around the bathroom when I need to.
For me, it's like sometimes you get a tea time. It's a long drive, like going out to the Valley of Fun. It's like an hour drive. Well, I'm gonna drink my morning coffee on the way to the golf course because like it's early tea time.
Right.
And that can cause some complications.
Yeah, it certainly
It
could.
can cause some complications.
Eric Saubert, I actually asked him about those walkthroughs today. And he said that like some quarterbacks that he's been with have done it and others haven't. Which means like the Jags, the Bears, the Raiders, the Patriots, the Falcons. Like Matt
Derek
Ryan,
Carr.
Tom Brady absolutely did.
Derek Carr probably.
Derek Carr, and then the bad ones probably not.
Yeah.
And I guess the Broncos
That
did
stuff
not.
always blows me away. Like, as a quarterback, aren't you looking around the league and just being like, everything they do, I also have to do? It's almost like when you're in
Exactly.
Broncos media and you're like, yeah, everyone just shows up early for things. I guess I do now too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I just remember the Hard Knocks when Tyrod Taylor was getting to the facility like hours before Baker Mayfield,
Yeah.
and like the coach pulled him aside and was like, "Hey, bro, you have to start getting here at the same time." as him."
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't every quarterback be like, "Oh, Russell Wilson does
Yeah.
pre-practice walkthroughs. I guess I have to do that now too."
100%.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Shall we hop into the people and talk to them?
Yes. Anything we need to get to in the comment section?
No super chats today.
Any good comments?
No. Oh, actually, no.
guys.
Shout out the comment section. You guys have been great today.
So, just so you guys know, we love involving the comment section in the show. And in this transition studio that we're in right now, we don't yet have a monitor mounted. So it's harder for us to see what you guys are saying. So don't think we're ignoring you. We definitely want to get you guys more involved. Hopefully we have a monitor up there shortly. And that way we can see the chat as it's coming in and be like, oh, good
Right.
comment from Jose or whoever it is that day. So just want you guys to know we're not ignoring you. We love you.
So shout out to all of you. And let's hop into the comment section over at thednvr.com. First one coming in from Denver Rivals. He says, hey guys, just want to let everyone know about our DNVR Rivals happy hour taking place on on August 4th to celebrate the end of the 2022 season.
I feel like I've heard this before.
It'll be at Green Valley Ranch Beer Garden from 6 to 8:30. Having the DNVR fam check out the program in person while sharing a drink with some fellow football heads.
You're not
would be
allowed
great.
to copy and paste this every day. You got to change it up.
He says, I know this comment might not make it in today's pod. I think we actually made it in yesterday's pod and today's pod. Yeah, so no wonder it felt like a copy paste. Denver
right.
Rivals,
He talked
listen.
about the Rockies and Chris Bryant,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
said no.
Yeah, Denver Rivals, make sure to listen to the full pod because we did talk about this yesterday.
Yep. Next one's from Big Hank Stan, who's actually Big Zac Stan in this comment.
Uh-oh.
The Z-Man Triumph. A scout for the Browns, they called Zach, correctly knew that Rodgers was whack. From his Jeopardy show to his hurt little toe, he proclaimed him so rightly a hack.
Beautifully written, Big Hank Stan.
I thought he was saying that you were on Jeopardy.
Oh, that would be something.
You could have been. I had a friend who was on Kids Jeopardy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is he smart?
He is.
I bet
And
he
you're
is.
also smart, so.
I don't know about I would need small words.
What do you mean?
Like, oh, am I not the host of Jeopardy? I'm
No,
on Jeopardy.
you're just on. You're a competitor.
Oh, okay. If it's sports related, I could play a little bit.
All right. I feel like you were taking more than sports classes at DU.
That's true.
Racking up a 4.0.
Probably.
Next one's from Mark Shippers, who says, "Hi guys, long time no comment. Still have been listening daily. Just wanted to say go Denver and go DNVR. I also stopped by Dove Valley last week and headed to the mountains on vacation. Took a picture with Steve and talked to Troy a little bit. He's on first name basis with Steve Atwater and Troy Rank.
And he's just stopping by the facility and seeing
Swinging
him.
by to see the boys.
Hey, Steve, I'm going to be in town next week.
Really, really nice guys," he says. "Just as nice as you, RK. And I talked to in a tanked Hank at the tailgate. That's
Yeah,
good.
Probably.
I went to back in 2019. Still need to meet Zach. We'll get there some way. Thanks for all the coverage. Mark in Kansas."
Okay, two things. One is, he said they're as nice as us. I don't believe that.
Steve Atwater is as nice as us.
Troy Rank's
He's
very
a-
nice as well, I got to say.
He's a hitter. But also, we skipped the second half of the Hank Stan comment.
Oh, so
Did we?
when you name your username Hank Stan, you get special treatment.
No,
huh?
I'm just saying. You got to stick up for
Wow.
him.
Okay, well, he says, "I'm here to say that Wilson will advance deeper into the playoffs this season than that creepy media darling." And you think he's a media darling? In Cheeseville. And ask what one of you all's most surprising player you've been delightfully wrong about over the years. Someone that you thought would straight suck and actually ended up being rad. It's all the other way around for me.
Oh.
Like people I thought that would be good that ended up sucking.
What about Justin Herbert?
Never heard of him.
Unfortunately, Hank, you mentioned one. The other one that pops into my mind, and it's not delightfully. It's Patrick Mahomes. I thought he was going to be a gunslinger of all gunslingers. I thought, yeah, he can throw for 5,000 yards. He can throw, I didn't think 50 touchdowns. He could throw 40 touchdowns, but he's going to accompany that with 24 interceptions, and it's just going to be the true gunslinger. And obviously, I was wrong about the interception.
I was wrong about Josh Allen. I
I
figured.
thought we were just talking about Broncos. That's
Oh.
why I said I don't have any. I have plenty
okay.
of draft guys. But you
Yeah.
can keep going about Josh Allen. I was wrong about him too.
Yeah. I thought, if you can't complete 50% of your passes in JUCO, then how are you going to be an NFL quarterback?
I mean,
Boy, was
he
I
was
wrong.
still in the 50s at YO.
Yes,
wasn't
he was.
Yeah,
He was.
which was a big step forward from the 48%
my
in
To be
JUCO.
fair, Josh Allen is the exception of all
Yeah.
He is, he
exceptions.
is, he
Don't
is.
be, don't beat yourself up too much.
I appreciate that. I
Same
take mine back.
I would say the same thing about Justin Herbert. All right, next one here from Denver Rivals again. Thanks for the love and spreading the word about association. I hope I can fix my first comment. If not, this is here to say my bad on practically commenting the same thing from yesterday. All right. This is some character development.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the association can work out a deal to get us in this year's training camp. It's been a while since I've last been. Will actually be a fun camp. What are some of y'all's favorite training camp memories? I've been working on my DNVR theme song submission, and we'll hopefully have a hot track for y'all up soon. Keep up the good work. Thanks for sharing the love, and I hope Denver Rivals and DNVR can do something special together once the remodel is all wrapped up.
I love it, Denver Rivals. Okay, some training camp moments. You always have the training camp darlings, and he even got mentioned on the pod earlier. But Jordan Taylor, I mean, was it 3 straight years or just 2 straight years that he was an absolute training camp darling?
I just saw this the other day, and I had forgotten how epic it was. I saw the play start rolling, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is the one Jordan Taylor makes a really cool catch. it's like a 10 out of 10 catch.
Yeah.
And he was just doing crazy stuff like that. Like he basically OBJ's it, like one-handed falling back. And so, yeah, he was fun to follow. Trying to think of, like, when I think of training camp, and this is kind of sad, but I just think of you and me in our little tent, just like cranking out podcasts.
Yeah.
And like the music would start blaring in our ears. Like that's like my definition of training camp. We're there like 2 hours before practice. The sprinklers are on, and we're recording podcasts.
Training camp felt so like the actual practice itself is because guys would start floating out on the field about an hour before, and we were there about an hour before that. So you're right. That's a really good. It just doesn't feel like a grind yet. And it's because we were just there on the field for 4 or 5 hours.
It's so true. And additionally, like back then, training camp to me was a month long. And like this year's the first time I said it, and it's like, man, we, like a couple more days. That's what it feels like to me right now.
Right.
Like it just goes by so fast now. Back then we were there. I mean, especially when I lived in that area, I just wouldn't leave. Because, like, you don't have to worry about traffic or anything. Like,
right.
So I was just like, oh, I'm just going to hang out. I would be there from, like, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day.
True. It's so true. It's nice to have a breakup.
It is.
I'll say.
Well, the way we have
sure.
it now is much better.
Next one coming in from Wabo.
Nope.
Okay, nope, it's not. Next one coming in from Weibo.
There you go.
Hey, he says, howdy, boys. Hank, perhaps you'd remember that one thing you saw during practice if you had a notebook to write it down in.
Great point, Weibo.
Which leads me to my suggestion for RK's Gruden Grinder. RK's notable player of the day, or the RK special player of the day. Thanks for the great coverage.
I like the notable player today. I'm trying to rebrand as Notepad RK for training camp, so that fits in pretty well.
Speaking of the RK notebook, someone reached out to me on Twitter, and I don't remember who. I'm sorry, but said you are archaic.
Heard
that's
that
a good one.
I've heard that one before.
It's going to take you like 5 training camps to fill that notebook.
Oh, yeah.
So
actually,
you're
yesterday
not
was
using
2
it between.
pages of notes. Today, we pared it down to just 1. Mostly because I was like, it's really hard. I can't get a tweet out on something and take a note on it. I have to choose one or the other.
See, when you use the phone, you can tweet it, then copy the tweet and throw it in the notes.
That's good. I can also just use my Twitter feed as a secondary notepad.
Okay, but then you have 2 different things.
It is. It's a lot. But there's just something about putting
okay.
pen to pad.
As long as we're admitting, it's you like the scent of the ink and it's a little more difficult.
Yep.
Okay.
Smell of
Yep.
dead trees.
You
good
love
work.
that. You're a big advocate for that all the time.
100%.
Love advocate for dead trees.
The thing about this is this tree was already killed. I didn't buy this. I found it.
Oh,
So like I didn't even
around?
support the tree killing business.
Okay,
Kind of
well,
like
that's good.
recycling.
It is. That's what it is.
And now you're part of the grass killing community by sitting on the hill.
New observation.
Oh.
I don't know how this just came into my head. A kid was trying to get Russell Wilson's autograph, and like when I say he does every autograph, he does the front row. Just goes down it. So like a kid wasn't able to get in there. He had a Russell Wilson poster that he wanted to get signed by Russell Wilson, wasn't able to, and ripped it up in a fit of rage.
Oh my God. Wow. That won't get it signed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy to think about. If Russell Wilson just hadn't signed those autographs today, he'd have one more fan.
He's probably a Seahawks fan now,
Yep.
this kid.
I couldn't
Poor
believe
kid.
what I was watching. I was just looking at the parents like, you guys screwed up.
Yeah. Like, can't you just run around to where he's going to be in like 3 minutes and get up to the front of the rope
I
there?
think he gave up after like Russ left.
Oh, okay.
Man, that's tough. Feel
Yeah.
bad for that kid.
I feel bad for the. Nope, no, I don't.
No, okay.
The attitude is like you probably didn't like it was a karmic thing.
Right. He deserved it. Next one from Nev.
Oh, to answer the question, the notable player of the day,
yes.
Jonas Griffith.
Okay, yep.
Good. I
Yep.
like it.
And then if you want to go deeper, dark horse, I saw at least 2 nice plays from Jaquan McMillan.
Hey, that's
yes.
very deeper dark
yes.
horse. I like it. Never been to Denver. Says, gentlemen, Your call out for more 5-star reviews on iTunes has been answered.
Let's go.
Just left my second review for you fine
go.
lads. I must admit, it's pretty cool to be classified as an OG from the BSN days. I remember AJ being a mainstay. Just want to give a shout out to all the international fans, especially those from Aussie and New Zealand. We should dedicate even what?
What the hell is OZ?
Australia.
I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Australia?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. He says we should have some dedication, even though many like myself have never been to Colorado. It's on the bucket list, though. No question, just getting amongst it. Love your work. Shout out to you for giving us a 5-star review. Shout out to our guy Brian Head for giving us another 5-star review as well, and everyone that's chiming in.
Yes, keep them coming in, please. More 5-star reviews. Drown out the haters.
I'm
Yep.
still shook about OZ being an abbreviation for Australia.
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 From Big Tony, my boys. Yes, E is one of the letters. All right, we're off to a good start.
Okay.
1 of 14.
Ooh, looks
Anyways,
like it's all one word.
well, should we get our guess in right now?
Yeah, but Big Tony, you got to break up the 2 words for us.
Doesn't want to give us too much.
Wow. What do we go with?
Vowels?
I was thinking S.
I could take an S.
Okay,
I think a
let's
vowel
do
would
it.
be a decent guess.
S.
Yeah, let's go S.
Tony, Big Tony.
Going
Big
S. Anyways, my question of the day is is Javonte a must-have in fantasy this year? Is Melvin, I'm too good for OTAs, Gordon, going to be a pest for Pookie
Wow.
owners? I have J-Dub in my fantasy league, in my dynasty league, but have offered a trade of Javonte plus Herbert for Najee plus the 8th pick. No way. Wait. Yeah, you're giving up Javonte and Herbert for Najee in the 8th pick?
I wouldn't do that.
Not in a million years.
No. And this is Dynasty? Yeah, no way.
Keep in mind this is an 8-team league, and the likes of Burrow, Jackson, and Hurts should all be available at 8 to replace Herbert. Oh, it's the beginning of a dynasty league.
Interesting.
Wait, what? How do you
I'm
already have
confused.
players?
Might be
Yeah.
a keeper league
What?
too.
Maybe.
Keeper dynasty. Okay, but that's
Well-
not dynasty.
Najee
No,
and
keeper leagues are
Jackson or
different than
Devontae and
dynasty
Herbert
leagues.
is basically the question.
No idea.
Also, avoid the Broncos backfield this year from your resident fantasy guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't take Melvin or Javonte.
I think Melvin's
Although-
too good for OTAs and too good to be kept off the field.
Yep, I
Hackett
agree
did
with
say
you.
today when he was asked, I think, was it Troy Rank who asked, like...
Nice guy.
Very
Nice,
nice
famously
guy.
nice as us, I guess. But that makes me kind of not nice. He asked something like, "How do you decide like who's gonna go out there first?" And Hackett basically said like, "Yeah, Javonte's gonna be out there first. Melvin's gonna be plenty of reps. We're gonna need both of them." But he did have that little bit of a hint in there about Javonte.
Really? I didn't pick that up.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll see if I can find the line.
Man, yeah, I would love it. I felt like it was just very non-committal, and that's I think what we're
It
gonna
was.
have from Nathaniel Hackett.
This is a great bit for me to do. So he says, also, can we start a GoFundMe to help Casa Benito buy number 11 from Josh Johnson? Seeing him in 42 is an absolute eyesore. That is all. Big Tony out. I couldn't agree more. I keep waiting for him to go over with Brandon McManus and start snapping him balls. So what do you guys think? I do a little video content, talk to Josh Johnson, see what the price would be, and then go over to Nick Benito and see if he's
Oh, yes. Do you end it with like, or should Nick just wait till you get cut?
ooh, definitely not that.
Okay, not that.
I wonder if he would be like offended just by the thought.
I think he
I'm
would.
a little worried about that.
Yeah, I maybe wouldn't.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be fun.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, so here's the thing. Nick Benito looked sick wearing number 11 in college. No one even remembers when you went to college.
Oh my God, you're so old. Do you even remember going to college?
How many teams does he play for?
13,
That is insane.
11, 13. He's
That
been
is
in the
crazy.
league 13 years.
Impressive.
Yep.
I actually have a ton of respect for him. He's also like kind of shifty back there.
Yeah, he is.
He's making some plays with his feet today.
Yeah.
If we were doing scoreboard, he would be the one who got the 1 point today, not Brett Rippon.
I agree. I agree.
You want to get the next one?
Coming in from Bronc Oilers. I believe this rounds us out. It says, hey guys, I've got to say one of my favorite things so far has been being able to hear Russ speak after practice. I'm not sure if there's another player or coach in the league that is so articulate and espouses so much wisdom each and every presser. In Denver, we hear so much about the standard and the expectation of excellence, and I don't think I've seen a Broncos quarterback not even Manning or Elway that
Whoa.
just exudes excellence in the way he does. He's really the perfect piece to round out the stellar Broncos leadership trinity of Peyton, Hackett, and Wilson. Also, I love how when asked about first day nerves, he simply says straight-faced, I don't get nervous. Inject that quarterback energy into my veins, please. Lastly, was also cool to hear that Jeudy was in the quarterback meeting room just to learn and be a fly on the wall. Glad to hear that the Russell effect is rubbing off and hoping he figures out the drop skis in time. Let's ride. And one more thing about Jeudy. Nathaniel Hackett today said Jeudy has blown him away and he's loved the way that he's been preparing.
That's awesome. And a lot of people try to like downplay your tweet about him doing that and jumping in the film room with the quarterbacks. I think I've never even heard of that before.
Yeah, I love it.
It's huge.
It can only help.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did a little bit of research. So the Broncos sent out the quotes from the press conference. And in the quote, they throw in a couple of parentheses that meant things that I don't remember. I'm basically saying, like, whether Javante's in there first. Like, they throw a weather in there and that stuff. I pulled up the audio, and he says, Javante goes in there first. Melvin, he does some good things too. But in the quotes they sent out,
yeah.
a little bit more of a hedge.
You're learning every day.
Yeah.
Learning something new.
I thought I was crazy.
So yeah, I like that you. That's called journalism. What you just did.
I just did.
Well, how was the question phrased though? Because maybe
I
that
went to the
plays
quotes.
it. Maybe you can't go to the quotes for that.
Running backs are both doing such a good job. They all do a couple things different.
No, the question.
It's cut out. Javante goes in there first. Melvin, to me, hey, you want to get them both the ball quite a bit.
No, but the question.
The question's not there.
It's not in the video.
Oh,
It's
you
just a
got to go to the
cut-up.
Broncos feed and find the whole video. See, that's not full journalism, Henry.
Damn. He said what he
Small
said.
J journalism.
He said what he said. Javante goes in there first.
Real quick, Zach. I heard Henry say, "I loved it." What did you think of Russ's "I don't get nervous" quote?
It was different. I'll tell you that. And the way it's different, Russ gives his answers. If you're watching on YouTube, they're this long when you type them out. This was 4 words.
Yep.
I don't get nervous.
Good guess.
With a period. Yeah, thank you.
I threw that into the column too. That's the one short one.
That is. Do I believe it? Is that what you're asking?
I just want to know what feeling you had when you heard that.
A little serial killer in him, but also that's what you want in a quarterback.
Exactly.
That's absolutely what you want in the fourth quarter. And I asked Nathaniel Hackett about that today, if that's a common trait of quarterbacks that he's been around, and he couldn't have just gone further away from the question at all. Just saying how quarterbacks are all different, and you love that about him, and he's still trying to figure out Russ. But I honestly thought it was like the softball for Nathaniel Hackett to either be like, of only the great ones, and Russ has it, or like, Russ is the only one.
So my first reaction, I kind of rolled my eyes.
Fair. Yep.
Oh, jeez. My second thing, though, is like, especially after watching practice today, I think he was nervous yesterday. He just looks infinitely more comfortable today, I thought. And maybe that was because the pass protection was better, but I just thought today he was like out there playing football. Yesterday maybe was a little tight. Maybe I'm reading in too much. But what I will say this is I think nervousness is one of those things that you can control internally. And so if you tell yourself I don't get nervous enough times, you will quell your nerves.
That's why I'm not ticklish.
Oh, that's a lie.
No, you just say it enough. You believe it.
I'm a big believer in speaking things into existence, and I think you can do it with that too.
It's true.
With
Like-
a physical thing like that.
When I go to, if I go to a haunted house, I have to unwind a thing where I'm like, I don't get scared. Because I'm like, if I just go through this being like, I don't get scared, this isn't going to be fun at all.
I see. I go in saying, "Oh, I get scared easy," and then I just get terrified.
Yeah, that's more fun.
man.
Exactly. That's what it's all about.
Do you guys get nervous?
Yeah.
I don't put myself in
Oh my
nerve-wracking
gosh, I just
situations.
rolled my eyes when he said that. So yeah, I guess my
mean-
first reaction to Russ was rolling the eyes.
Yeah, I get nervous, but I don't know when.
Like, my heart rate goes up when I stand over an eagle putt.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Or like, a putt to win the hole or anything like that. Like, it's not like nervous, like shaking out of your boots, but like you're your heart rate changes. You might feel a little sweaty palms.
I've been thinking, and I might need to start like climbing mountains or something. Like I need to put myself in situation to be nervous. I feel like I'm a nervous guy. Why am I never nervous?
Nervous to like ask a girl out.
Right.
I've had the woman for a year.
You can't even remember the past year.
Yeah. No, before that.
Nervous to like make the first move.
Right.
You're lying.
No, I know I'm a nervous man. I know that.
Have you had nerves in the past 48 hours going to Broncos for the first time, doing anything like that?
I'm trying to think. I feel like I have. I feel like I have.
I definitely did.
But I don't know exactly
not these
when.
past 48 hours, but in Hank's
Your first
situation,
ones, yeah.
absolutely.
Like I would have thought like asking a question would be the moment, but that isn't one. Like I've met a lot of the people.
Yeah. Even to this day, sometimes when I'm about to ask a question,
Yeah.
the heart rate
Yeah.
goes up a little bit. I'm like,
I've had
don't,
that.
Don't fuck this
Yeah,
up.
at CU I definitely
agree.
had that point. Yeah. It's easy
Don't get
to
a Kareem Jackson.
Oh man, I know all too well. about
that's
that.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Have you guys gotten over that?
Double deuce. I don't know. We bond by the number. So.
yeah, we should have put Zac Stevens on the graphic.
Yeah.
Well, I had a good ending to the show, but then I got too nervous and I
No,
forgot.
fair. That was a good ending.
Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Hit us with a thumbs up on your way out on YouTube. Hit us with a 5-star review on iTunes. That would mean a lot. And hit us with your viewership tomorrow at 3 o'clock.